All
Here we
right,
are.
we're back. Hey, Tyler, how are you?
Doing all right. How's it going?
Going good. Busy week as we move up on the end of the year, but happy to be back talking to you about dSIPRouter. I know we're going through we got to figure out what we want to call this thing. I think we have it branded as dSIPRouter Weekly. I think you like devlog, so we'll probably be figuring out what we do there. But I'm happy to be here just chatting about dSIPRouter. One of the things I wanted to chat about, and I know this is one of the things me and you talked about, is like getting more engagement. I mean, I think the key here is that the reason why we did dSIPRouter Weekly is for people who use dSIPRouter to be able to connect with us, chime in. It doesn't seem like a lot of people like watch us live. So if this format doesn't work for folks, let us know, and we'll go more to maybe a different type of format or go live on a different type of platform. But just let us know, because we definitely want to make it so it's useful. Or you may just want to see me and Tyler whenever you're looking for certain pieces of information, and maybe we can record certain bits of information around the product and just put it out there, and you can go grab it, go get it as needed. But let us know. But that's my thoughts. Tyler, how about you?
Yeah. So we've in the past and we still kind of every once in a while when a release comes up, we'll put out some more information on some of the new features and kind of introductions to different things that we're doing in the project and kind of discuss that. So if we still want to keep it a short format though, so just short and sweet. I think that is more engaging for people, and I don't think people have an hour to sit down and hear us ramble about how the project's going. So we're definitely going to keep it a short format. But if you guys do want it, as something that, because most people are watching after, that you can watch after, we can change the formatting for that too. Just let us know.
Yeah, that'd be good. So I think we wanted to keep it on that note of keeping it short and sweet. I wanted One of the things we introduced recently is dBilling, and I'm going to just quickly just kind of go over what the customer space is for that. I'm just posting real quick so that people know we are live here, and then I will. Um, I will get started here. But really, what I want to do is just get people to understand what are we trying to solve with with dBilling, and how does it kind of complement dSIPRouter in some cases here. I think the first thing I'm going to do here is just kind of lay out in a little diagram here of what we're trying to do, and this is going to be live, right? Nobody's seen this before. So you guys should feel super special that you're seeing this. Um,
Yeah, I think most people, maybe a quick overview would be good, because most people think billing is for SIP is a little bit mystical. It's like, which parameters should I be doing? How do I get the rate decks in there? Yeah, like a quick overview maybe.
yeah. So when we like, so it probably is going to grow into different aspects. But when we talk about the debilling component here, we're really talking about, and I want to change the tagline here, is that it's really around providing the billing infrastructure. So all the things you need to have in place in order to accurately be able to bill your customer, or to route your customer, um, you know, yeah, like a live call flow, like routing your customer to a particular carrier, or to put some permissions on a call going outbound. But it all relates back to billing infrastructure. And I don't think billing infrastructure is something that people have really focused on. It's been more of like, hey, like kind of what Tyler said, is like, hey, I want to have take my rate decks from my carrier, upload it into this thing, and then it generates bills for us. I think we will get there at some point, either natively generating bills, or we'll be partnering with someone like a RevIO to do that. But I think right now our main focus is to make it super easy so that people can be in a position so that they can bill and bill accurately. Um, so so hopefully that clears some of that up. Tyler, was that okay, or did I need to go deeper, you think?
Yeah, just a quick note on that. So most people, they want to, they want to be able to change their rates and track, minutes. They may give special offers or have special charges for short, like customers that have short
Short-term
duration
hold.
calls, or metrics that are not matching, like ASR and ALOC. Their minimums that they're putting in their requirements for that customer. So you as a VoIP provider need to be able to say, okay, this customer didn't meet these metrics. I need to charge them, or maybe you're giving them a sale, on because you got a really good deal on, a line from this new carrier. So you give them a sale, all that type of stuff. You need to be able to basically pass it on to your customer, but in a transparent way, and basically just match what you agree with your customer. And I don't think there's a lot of flexibility in that space. So I don't want to get too off in the weeds, but yeah, I think that's a good overview, Mac.
Yeah. So I mean, all the stuff Tyler's talking about is the stuff that happens when you are, because there's two types of VoIP providers. Kind of, that's how I classify them. There are people that are servicing call centers, and then there's people who are servicing more of like independent businesses, some residential. So those needs are going to be a little different, but at the very basis of what everyone needs to do, you need to have a good infrastructure to provide the proper data to your billing system. And that's really what we're really focused on. We will get to the higher stack things that Tyler's talking about, but for most places, we are just in the weeds a little bit in setting things up. So let me start here. So dBilling is going to be something a little different than what we do in dSIPRouter. So dBilling is actually going to be a hosted SaaS portal that you'll be able to log into and obtain agents. So this little circle here with an A in it represents an agent. So what you'll be able to do is take this agent and start, I'll make a couple of copies of these, and start putting these agents on different SIP components in your environment. So you may have, if you have dSIPRouter, most likely all of your traffic is going to dSIPRouter. So maybe you only need to have the agents on dSIPRouter. Or in some cases, you may say, hey, I don't have dSIPRouter, which is fine. In that case, you haven't made a commitment to dSIPRouter to route all your traffic, which I think you should, but you haven't. That's okay. You'll be able to take these agents and put them onto your Fusion box, or you'll put them onto your PBX box, or whatever PBX that we support. You'll be able to take that agent and put it there. And really, and there'll be an API key that you'll be able to use in order to access it. And from there, these agents will start reporting to dBilling your CDRs. So your call detail records that you have here will be sent over to dSIPRouter. Now, the magic in this is just not about just pushing these up. And by the way, we'll support probably a couple of different ways to do it. Obviously, we'll support kind of the basic HTTPS, obviously. But I think what we're thinking about is also maybe supporting something around pub sub type of environment where we're using something like a Kafka, RabbitMQ, or something of that nature to support the movement of these. But that hasn't really been completely like fleshed out yet on what the protocols are going to be supported. But those are the things that still kind of thinking through. But that's at the core. That's these are the things that we're going to do. Now, it's going to be when it hits the actually dBilling controller here, and this is what you're going to hear me refer to as, it's going to be responsible for doing things such as deduplication. So making sure that the CDR record that you sent is only been sent once, and if it has been sent multiple times, handle with getting rid of that duplicate. Now, once it gets to dBilling and it goes through the deduping process, you'll have a couple of different options that you'll do. So day one, you may have very limited options on what you do. I'm trying to find something that will represent this a little bit here. I'll use this and put this in the back here. So day one, this is like a little plugin here. This is kind of the I should have thought through the plugin architecture better here. A better picture.
It looks fine. Another block.
Thank you. Like Rev, I think is this Rev.io? Is that how you spell it?
Rev.io. Yep.
Rev.io. Yep. So Rev.io may be one. We may do some type of configuration with I think it's CG Greats. CG is it CR Greats? I think it's CG Greats.
CG Rates. Yep.
CG Rates. Okay. All right. Which we've been wanting to do a partnership with them for a while. So this may be the opportunity now to kind of do that. And then in some cases is that we will natively support this as well. I'll make this a little bit bigger. And so at some point we'll have our own kind of plugins that fits in here. I'm just going to put it off to the side for right now. This is going to be some type of native billing component that will generate bills and things of that nature for you. So I mean that is kind of like the first kind of thing that we want to like build out. And then so this is kind of like out of band. So this is kind of like the out of band architecture that we have for this. So what I mean by that is that dBilling doesn't need to be something that will actively be involved in your call flow. At least that's part of it. Now there's one other architecture. There's another piece of this here, and I'm going to create a different slide and just talk through that really quickly. Is that in situations where and all of this hasn't been like how we're going to do it. Actually, let me put these back. That actually I wanted to dBill dSIPRouter there, but I don't really need this cloud thing. I thought it would be kind of cool to have that there, but it didn't turn out as well how I like it. But in this case, you're going to have another use case that we're going to have here is going to be pin management, and this is where for some situations, I'm put to get rid of this. All right, so you got dBilling controller still being here. Where dBilling sits at in this use case, it's I don't know. We're still figuring that out. But this is a situation where usually in other countries in the U.S., it is still super expensive to have a carrier that is that allows you to make external phone calls. It's still pretty expensive. So what a lot of organizations want to do, they want you to have a PIN code in order to make an outbound call. Now, dSIPRouter in a lot of cases, will be sitting there routing traffic from a free PBX server or something of that nature. And so I'll just add a free PBX server here. All right. So I'm an end user. I want to be able to make a call. dSIPRouter. I want to be able to make a call to a let me add also here really quickly. This is a carrier that's out here. Okay. Now, if I want to make a call external to here, let me do here. I don't want anybody just being able to make a call to our carrier because it's expensive. This is where we would do something like this. And again, we're still fleshing this out a little bit. Is that if a call comes through, we will most likely route that call to dBilling. dBilling will say, hey, please enter your PIN code. And if you enter a valid PIN code, it will then allow the call to be released or continue out the path of communicating with a carrier. So this is a way, using dBilling in this way, it allows it to have a centralized PIN management solution. So this is what we call central PIN management. And you may say to yourself, well, FreePBX has PIN management. Well, that's only localized to a single FreePBX instance. If you have multiple FreePBX instances, which a lot of companies do, because maybe they have multiple locations, they usually have one in each location because FreePBX, as many of you know, are just they are single tenant. It just makes more sense to have a central PIN management solution so that people only have to modify and update their pins in one central place, and that central place will be dBilling. So anyway, I just wanted to give a quick overview of the kind of the two main use cases where dBilling is fitting in, at least initially. One is going to be in the billing infrastructure side. And I guess they're all this is all infrastructure, but one is going to be around capturing the CDRs, and the other one is going to be around managing pins for end users from a central standpoint. So that's it from that. I don't know, Tyler, do you have any good follow-up questions for me?
Yeah, I think the international that dialing and like filtering that per customer, I think some of these extra things we're going to find as we develop this, and we'll probably add some more of those features in there. I did want to note, I saw that on there, you didn't mention the protocol. So I believe that one is going to be SIP. So it's like a SIP within the SIP path as a reinvite, or 302, probably a 302 or some type of redirect there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, that's true. So it will be either a SIP, redirect, or a SIP refer or something like that, or a reinvite. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, so good call on that one on what the communication is going to be there. But more to come. But I wanted to let people know like this is happening. And by the way, that the architecture that we're building out for dBilling is going to be the same new framework that we'll be using for dSIPRouter as well. So so this is kind of exciting because we're able to reuse a lot of the new framework that we're building here for dSIPRouter, which I know a lot of you have wanted us to. I'm excited for a couple of reasons. One is that we're going to have one binary. All of our stuff is written in Go now. At least the UIs will be written in Go. So you'll have one binary for running dSIPRouter, which is going to be super cool. So you won't have to worry about dependencies. The install process is going to be pretty simple from the UI standpoint. And if we're able to hit this out of the park, we'll be able to have one UI that can manage multiple dSIPRouter instances if we do this right. So I think this is going to be really fun and really hopefully open up an area where it's been really painful for people and continue. So I know I wanted to stop there because I know you wanted to show something and we wanted to keep this short. So
yeah, that's a great overview.
Stop presenting.
There's a lot of use cases there. I think we could probably talk for a while about that and the new architecture. Yeah. So I'm gonna instead just kind of move right on. Did want to demo a little thing. I think some other people, I saw at least a couple customers dealing with, and it's the floating IPs in DigitalOcean. So I'm gonna kind of get my screen sharing here. And one of the issues that you'll find if you're using DigitalOcean, you sign a floating IP to your instance, it's not going to change that default route for your outbound traffic. And that becomes a big issue for when you're using dSIPRouter or Camilio, any other type of routing engine. You're going to have the opposite public IP in your requests. So they're going to come back to the wrong IP. You want them to use the floating IP. So I did a little bit of digging, and I came up with a solution for that. Right now, I'll just show you. I got like a dSIPRouter box right here. It's up on Ubuntu. We're just going to check with an external resolver. Okay, we're seeing it. And as you saw earlier, that's the default route right now is set to this IP, the 198 IP, but we want it to be the floating IP. So I took a little bit of time, and I hacked up a little script here. And basically all this does, it grabs the anchor IP from the DigitalOcean metadata, and then it goes ahead and sets that to the actual default route. Really simple stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just pop that in here. I'm going to put it anywhere really. Float IP.py sounds good. And now we can see if we run that. I don't know if it's going to disconnect my, gotta chmod it. I don't know if it's going to disconnect my terminal session or not, but dangerous demo, we'll find out.
Hey.
So now, looks like my terminal connection's still connected. If I go ask an external IP resolver what my IP is, it won't work. And I think we'll try that one more time. May need to reboot. So what I did last time was I would run it, and then I would do this on the startup process. So maybe if we put it into this startup hook and then give it a reboot, it'll work like we're intending. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into systemd. And in dSIPRouter, we have this little hook called dSIPinit, and it does the dynamic networking. So if you have it in the dynamic networking mode, it will pull up all the new IP settings and network settings. If now I put in, I need to start that script. So all I did was I made the first command that runs on dSIPinit starts up that assign IP. What we should have when we reboot is it will assign that floating IP, and then dSIPRouter will go ahead and pull all the network settings after that. So we'll see if it works on reboot. Looks like I might need to update that script. Or the demo gods are just not my favorite today. We'll see.
Hey, it's all good.
All right. And we're back up. Let's see. I don't think that one pulled in the floating IP. So we'll have to change this up, figure out what's wrong with that. But since it's a dangerous demo and we're trying to do this quickly, basically that's how you would change the startup process for dSIPRouter. If you went into the dSIPinit service and you updated any of these startup commands, those will all run right before dSIPRouter configures anything. I'm gonna see. Yeah, so I think we'll end there. I don't want to like hack on that all day during the stream. We'll figure out what's going on with the floating IP script.
Yeah, so I think it's good. I think the key is that where is that script located?
So I haven't even, that's not committed anywhere yet. I just figured that out with a customer, and I
cool.
Yeah, tossed in a file. I thought it would be something good to demo. Didn't test it beforehand, but
no, it's all good. No, I think that's one of the things that you know, I think this is what this is all about. Is like showing people what's possible. If you're interested or you're deploying on DigitalOcean, definitely engage us. And we'll help you get it deployed. And especially if you want to, and I'm assuming this is great in situations where, is this where pacemaker would be involved, or is this where you simply want to take you have two instances of dSIPRouter and you want to manually do it? When would this come into play, Tyler, I guess?
Yeah, so it could be both those situations. So if you are just migrating one of your servers, you just swap over your floating IP. So that's kind of like the standard one, or you're doing maintenance, you just swap that floating IP over to your secondary server. But the automated case would be like with pacemaker. If you have pacemaker on there, if the floating IP transfers, we still want that default route to be the floating IP instead of the other one, instead of the ephemeral, because you're going to give your carriers the floating IP for your trunking.
Right.
Most carriers, they're going to be using IP whitelisting. Some of them do support registration authentication, but for the most part, you're going to want to give them that. You're going to be giving them that floating IP. That's where it comes in handy there.
No, that's very cool. No, that's very cool. I think that's a good one. All right, to keep it short and sweet. So what are you excited about? And we'll close it out.
Yeah, I'm excited to finish up this round of QA. We got a lot of new stable OS installations coming into the dSIPRouter project. So anybody who's excited about CentOS 9 or RHEL 9, Rocky 9, we'll have that out, and you guys can hack away on that. I think there's a decent amount of people that are looking at that but haven't tested it out yet. So I'm excited for that. What about you, Mac? What's exciting about the project coming up for you?
Probably just figuring out the integration between dBilling and dSIPRouter and figuring out how people will use it. So looking for use cases. So people who are, running into these problems or issues, definitely hit me up. You can find this on Slack. So the Slack address will be in the notes below. So yeah, that's probably it, man. So that's it for us. I'm good. We'll see you guys the next time, and we're out.
All right. See you guys.